Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Christina here. Hang on, I'm just going to get this all ready. Welcome to this month's Ask Dr. Christina. I'm really excited to be here. We are just in the midst of allergy season, just getting started, and this is such an appropriate time for us to do this talk. And I am sure those of you who have signed up either have frequently had allergies your entire life, or you're starting to notice allergies starting later in your adulthood or late teens or early on in life, like through perimenopause. And they're getting worse and worse, and you're wondering why this is happening to you now. So, um, there's a huge connection with the gut and allergies. And today that's what we're going to talk about. So, hang on, my computer is having a little bit of a hard time. Let's see. There we go. So, a little bit about me. For those of you who are new to me, I have been practicing chiropractic for just over 26 years. I've been doing functional medicine for about a decade, although with chiropractic using diet and lifestyle nutrition throughout my career to help families heal, kids and moms and their families, the community. My specialized training is linked in gut health and autoimmunity and functional pediatrics. I was very, very blessed to be trained with Dr. Terry Walls, who had put her MS into remission and teaches practitioners all over the world how to help people heal from autoimmune conditions and put their symptoms in remission. Extremely, extremely um, motivating and inspiring Dr. Walls is. And then I have done the Bredesen training with Dr. Dale Bredesen, who has reversed Alzheimer's in hundreds of patients now and trained hundreds of doctors to do his work with lifestyle medicine to help save brains and heal bodies. I think for me, the most shocking and radically transforming lectures were the ones that where they showed that food and lifestyle protocols could really make a massive radical impact on patients' symptoms that had severe chronic illnesses that they had not been able to get a handle of either through pharmaceuticals or other changes in the past. And so this really allowed me to implement into my practice these kinds of protocols and really explode the results for my patients and really see, like Dr. Walls likes to call it, an epidemic of healing. So today we're going to talk about the gut, which is always my favorite topic because I feel like when your gut is healthy, your body wants to heal. And with the ongoing group of people and the growing number of people suffering from allergies, I felt like this is a really great opportunity to give people some information on why allergies are increasing, why allergies you may not have had before and have now, and what you can do yourself at home, and some practical basic steps you can do and you can take to get control of these allergies. So some people are predisposed to allergies due to genetics. There are genetic variations in certain enzymes that help us degrade histamine. Histamine is the particle that creates those allergy like symptoms, runny eyes, itchy nose, coughing. And for some people, that includes bloating and indigestion and brain fog. But what most people don't understand is that gut health is directly linked to your immune system health. And when your gut is off, your immune system is off. And that can really increase your allergies and have them worsen and worsen every year, um, even if you don't know why. So, the gut health may be the missing piece of the puzzle. And I'm loving to share that with you today. What I'd like to cover today is common allergy symptoms. Some of them are common, some of them are less well known, and you may actually be having some allergy symptoms and you don't know that they're allergy symptoms. So, recognizing the messages your body's sending you, a chain reaction, the physiological response that's happening in your body when you have these allergy symptoms. Then I want to elucidate a little bit the gut allergy connection, how gut dysfunction can actually lead to a new onset of allergies you've never had before or worsening and worsening symptoms. And I see this in my practice every day. And then practical things that you can do from home in terms of diet and lifestyle and some basic supplementation that could give you a good head start. And then just my general recommendations to target allergies in terms of supplements. Now, I want to just share this disclaimer that I'm not your doctor. We don't have a doctor-patient relationship. Anything you do want to do in terms of supplementation or further, please discuss with your healthcare provider. Okay, so let's see where we are. So 1 in 4 people have allergic rhinitis, which is that congested stuffy nose, runny eyes that happens due to allergens. So that's a significant portion of the population, almost 25%. And some of those symptoms can be rooted in gut dysfunction and not just in pollen counts and dander and things like that. Common allergy symptoms, um, some common, some not. You know, a lot of people know the respiratory ones: runny, itchy nose, congested, sneezing, coughing, asthma-like breathing difficulty. These are commonly understood, and people usually who have these symptoms, they usually have them from an early age, and they know you have got these allergy symptoms. Skin symptoms like rashes, hives, redness, peeling, persistent itchiness, eczema-like patches, so dry patches that pop up and around the body, are also called common allergy symptoms. What a lot of young kids that come in my practice see is the itching and tingling of the mouth, swelling of the tongue, lip, throat, and face, sometimes even little canker sores inside. Didn't put that here, but that's a common allergy symptom, specifically to food allergies, is cankers inside the mouth. What a lot of people don't understand are the neurological symptoms of allergy response or allergy immune response. And actually, my patient we're going to speak about at the end of the lecture, that was one of her things. She didn't realize that lightheadedness, dizziness, a foggy brain, and in some severe cases, loss of consciousness, which she didn't have, are the neurological symptoms that can be related to an allergic reaction from your body. I have lots of other people who come and they have digestive distress, bloating, diarrhea, cramping, nausea, um, wanting to vomit right after they eat, and they don't really know how to tell what it is. These are the digestive allergy symptoms. And then we have those severe anaphylactic allergy symptoms that are rooted in different immunoglobulins. And those are life-threatening reactions that obviously require medical attention. I haven't seen that shift too much for people. The severity, perhaps, in terms of changing diet and lifestyle. There's lots of things you can do there, but this talk will more speak about more of the common allergic and intolerance reactions we're going to see. And what I have found in my clinical practice is that things like antihistamines that are widely available are just a band-aid solution. They're just going to stabilize your mast cells. The mast cells are the ones that released the particle histamine that is linked to all of these different symptoms, but they just manage the symptoms and they sometimes don't address the root cause. So I have had a lot of patients, and I'm just thinking about a woman in her early 60s who had allergy symptoms her whole life, and we worked with her in the fall for other symptoms, joint pain, autoimmune condition. And that spring, she didn't have to take any allergy medication, much to her surprise. We hadn't really talked a lot about her allergies because we were focusing on her joint and autoimmune condition. But when your immune system detects a perceived threat, so something, some sort of dangerous stranger, be that a particle of something, be that a food that your body is intolerant to, it launches a full immune system defense response, releasing chemicals that create all of these symptoms. And one of these chemicals is histamine. And your immune system is just really giving you a message like something is not right. Something is inflaming me, and it begins to launch a full attack on what it perceives as a dangerous stranger, even if it's food, even if it's not a dangerous stranger. The responsive is a protective response by design, but when it overreacts and it keeps firing due to other things that are going on in your body, and maybe even stress, you get this chronic allergy symptoms as a result. So this chronic itchy skin that has no seasonality to it, this chronic bloating and digestive distress, no matter what you've eaten, what you've removed from your diet, no matter what time of day, it can just always be that bloating or that indigestion. Those are the immune system misfiring and dysregulated. Now, mast cells are the cells in our body and basophils are these are the immune cells that release this particle histamine in response to these allergens or these perceived dangerous strangers. Histamine is behind most of the symptoms that most people experience. So the diarrhea, bloating, nausea, and abdominal pain. A lot of people don't know that diarrhea can be also a histamine reaction, so an allergic immune system response. Headaches and flushing of the chest and head. If you flush after you eat, or if you're outside for a walk and you're flushing or you're getting a headache, these can be common signs and symptoms of allergy response and a release of histamine. Congested, runny, itchy nose, we all know about, and those hives and rashes. we all know about. Anxiety is one that's not talked about a lot, and it's extremely common in my practice to see someone with gut dysfunction, and they get maybe an overgrowth of certain kinds of bacteria or parasites in their body that release more histamine than their body's used to, and they have a sudden onset or a um, slow increase in histamine, and they slowly become more and more anxious, regardless of whatever else they're trying because they haven't looked at the gut. Just need to, there we go. So the gut allergy connection is what we're going to talk about next, and why what's happening in your digestive tract may be driving your allergy symptoms. And actually, I would say in all cases, even if it's not the root cause of your allergy symptoms, if you are allergic to things, you have an allergic type of profile, you do much worse and you have more symptoms, more chronicity, more intensity of systems when your gut is dysfunctional and is inflamed. So the two are very deeply connected. And if you look over here, this is the microvilli in the gut epithelium. So the lining of the gut has these tiny little finger-like projections. And within them, there's tons of surface area. And the gut houses the largest concentration of immune cells, especially in the small intestine. So it's the first place that um, where you'll get some food after the stomach. It'll go to the small intestine and the large intestine. And some severe gastrointestinal disorders are linked to increased risks of eczema, asthma, and even seasonal allergies. So people with IBS, Crohn's, and colitis also start to get these allergic responses like eczema, asthma, and seasonal allergies. So they're very related. Seasonal food allergies also closely correlate with the microbiome composition, and they've seen that in kids and adults. So when you have an imbalanced microbiome, we call that dysbiosis. And for those of you who are new to functional medicine or new to gut health or new to me, I often talk about this. We want to have good bacteria, and we're okay to have a little bit of bad bacteria. And the microbiome houses not only good and bad bacteria, but viruses and parasites, which are actually extremely common in our communities and in my clinical experience. They tend to drive a lot of the chronic disorders and chronic reactions patients have. So this microbiome imbalance in the composition is closely related to food allergies and seasonal allergies. And this connection can apply to food allergies and environmental allergies. And there's some pretty good research supporting that. So when there's leaky gut, so you have these little these little cells with finger-like projections here, the finger-like projections here, but you've got these epithelial cells, the cells that line the gut lining, so small intestine, large intestine, and they have these little channels between them that open and close. It's a tight junction that keeps bad guys out and lets in good things like food particles, vitamins, minerals, water. Um, and when they're healthy, they open and close, and it just allows selectively things to happen. But when we start to have something called leaky gut, where that gut lining becomes compromised, could be due to poor diet, could be due to sleep deprivation, could be due to increased stress over long periods of time. When these tight junctions become compromised and open and aren't selective, we get undigested food particles and different microorganisms and even toxins that we would normally be able to filter out. They can pass right into the bloodstream. It's only one cell thick, and then you have the bloodstream. So this will trigger an immune system, inflammatory reaction through the body, worsening our allergy symptoms significantly. So leaky gut is, a real first trigger. It's one of the places to first check out. If you have that damaged gut lining, more allergens are entering the bloodstream. And if you already have some allergic kind of predisposition, you're going to get this immune system overreaction, which long term has been, described as one of the triggers and one of the three pillars of autoimmune disease. If you have a leaky gut, you can have autoimmune condition. You can't really have one if your gut lining has a lot of integrity because that immune system is regulated just a little bit more. That's one of the things that we'll work on with patients who have immune system over responsiveness. Now, in those microvilli, those little finger-like projections you saw in the epithelial cells, we have something called DAO. Now, DAO is an enzyme that helps degrade histamine, so it helps break it down and clear it out of our system. Now, some people genetically have they make less of this DAO enzyme, so they clear histamine slower. And those are the people who had allergies as kids. They're just that allergic kind of eczema, asthma, react to different food, runny nose in the spring and the fall. Those people sometimes have this genetic predisposition for their a diamine oxidase enzyme to not work as well. And so they're already at risk for allergic over response or less breakdown of histamine and having histamine overload in the body. So when histamine is broken down, then we don't have those allergic reactions. We don't get those highs. We don't get that itching. We don't get that nausea. And when histamine, when the gut is inflamed or damaged, your body can produce less of this DAO because it's found in that lining, the epithelial lining of the cell. And then histamine from parasites, pathogens, food that you're taking in will start to build up. So DAO is found in the kidneys, the thymus, and the intestinal lining. Most often we notice in the intestinal lining that there's damage and that can create a problem. But we have seen that a lot in the kidneys as well. It needs vitamin C, B6, and copper to actually work properly. So if you're nutrient deficiencies, if you're nutrient deficient, then you may also not be able to turn on or make enough of this enzyme to clear the histamine your body needs cleared. And like I said, some people have that genetic variation to have reduced DAO production. But what I want to really, emphasize here is that a healthy gut equals better histamine clearance and equals fewer allergy symptoms and all those symptoms we talked about. So for a lot of my patients, it's bloating. They come in with digestive distress. They know I specialize in digestion, and we end up finding they actually have some overgrowth, overabundance of histamine in their body due to some gut integrity issues, and usually parasites and dysbiosis, microbiome imbalance. And the microbiome really matters. So we've even seen in studies with infants that have allergic diseases, like infants that have eczema and asthma early on, have shown reduced levels of healthy bacteria in the gut and increased levels of pathogenic. So what that means is we've got a dysbiotic microbiome. We have less of the good guys and more of the bad guys, which causes inflammation, which causes immune system responsiveness or over responsiveness, which then can make allergy symptoms worse. And this early imbalance, the research is starting to show, can really set the stage for like a lifetime of allergic response if we don't address it. And the wonderful thing is that we can address it. We can even address it in small children, which we do in our practice all the time. So when we do stool testing, we can look at these bacteria. So some of my patients who have tried everything, when they come to me, their kid has terrible eczema, or they have terrible bloating that won't go away no matter what kind of food or what kind of diet they've tried, even if it's a really healthy diet. We look in the microbiome, we start to look at histamine producing bacteria. And this is just some of the histamine producing bacteria that we can look for. We can look for staphylococcus. Staphylococcus we usually see in the skin and gut bacteria that can overproduce a gut. Clostridium is usually found in the gut, so usually increases that histamine load, and we get bloating and digestive issues and irritable bowel type issues. Proteus can colonize the gut and contribute to the immune overreaction. We also sometimes see it inflaming the joints. So sometimes someone with excess histamine that also has joint pain, they have an overgrowth of this Proteus. And Enterococcus it's another one of these bacteria in the gut, which can overgrow and produce histamine. So these are just some of the histamine producing bacteria. Now, oftentimes when I have small kids or people who have done a lot of traveling, they will have parasites in their gut, and parasites can also produce histamine. One of the tests we do can look for that. I find traditional medical testing misses a lot of parasites. So when we do our in-depth functional medicine stool testing, we can see parasites. And even then, sometimes if we don't see them, but we have this kind of symptoms in the map of what looks like parasites, we may do a little treatment to see if we can lower that histamine. But the main point of this is really that an imbalanced microbiome doesn't just affect your digestion, your micronutrient absorption. It really can worsen your allergy symptoms. So how can you heal? So these are practical things you can do at home, step by step, super easy. So diet's always the foundation of gut healing for me, and it's a low-hanging fruit. Everyone can do it. Everyone can alter their diet a little bit on a weekly basis, change things slowly or quickly, depending on, how sick you're feeling. I often tell patients when they're like, I don't want to really change. I don't like food prep. I'm just one of those people. I'm like, then you're not sick enough. Because when you are feeling sick enough and when your child is sick enough and your loved one is sick enough, these are the easiest things to shift. So we look at an anti-inflammatory diet, and this is across the board actually for every chronic disorder because gut health is so intrinsically interwoven with like body system, all the systems body health. So low sugar, not no sugar, low sugar, low to no processed food, whole foods. So we want, avocados and beef and berries and bananas and vegetables. We want whole one ingredient food. If you don't know one ingredient, if there's no label on it and there's no package, you're doing a good job. Avoid inflammatory oils. So canola, sunflower, safflower, all the seed and vegetable oils are all very inflammatory, and they can create some gut lining issues, which can worsen your ability for your immune system to react appropriately. As much as you can, choosing non-GMO organic pesticide produce when possible. We grow produce. We're actually in a new house the last year, and we haven't figured out where we're going to grow our produce because we don't get a lot of sun. I'll get back to you on that one, but growing your vegetables is like really fun and is nothing to lose. The seeds are very inexpensive, but you can really reap a lot of harvest over those periods of time where you have enough sun and heat to actually grow it. Eliminate or limit your alcohol. Alcohol is really disruptive to the gut lining, really disruptive to the microbiome. And despite, the last 20 years of people talking about alcohol being healthy, when you're dealing with allergies, you really want to, or any kind of chronicity of health symptoms, you really want to clean up your diet as much as you can. And alcohol is inflammatory to all people. So limiting it would be a good idea. One of the things we try and get young kids to do, and adults are a little easier to get variety, is we want to eat colorful fruits and vegetables because those phytonutrients in those plants, so phytonutrients are plant nutrients, all have different properties and all are anti-inflammatory. So we want purple and orange and green and yellow. We want all the colors of the rainbow. So when you're making your plates, really looking and seeing, yes, you may have all green, but did you have anything purple this week? And did you have anything red and anything yellow? All of those different colors have different phytonutrients, which are beneficial to our health. And eating more plants. Now, some people can't eat raw plants, they have to eat cooked plants. There's no right way to do it, but plants feed the microbes, which help heal the gut lining. What a lot of people don't know is that it can take only 10 to 14 days to grow new gut lining cells. A lot of people think it's going to take months and months. When you remove the inflammatory things, be it the microbiome that's in balance, and you get rid of some of those bacteria parasites, you remove the inflammatory food and you start eating more of a whole foods diet. When that is there, it takes as little as 10 to 14 days to actually make brand new gut cells. And those brand new gut cells, if they're in a healthy environment, they are healthy. They are not sick Crohn's, IBS cells. They are healthy cells. But you have to make the environment such that they stay healthy. So certain foods that you can include for allergy support: local raw honey, especially if you have environmental allergies. Try a little bit first. Every season's a little different. There's different things in the air, but local raw honey, microdosing little bits of it can help desensitize your immune system over time. Apple cider vinegar supports gut acidity and it's healthy in digestion and it reduces the inflammatory load. Sometimes it helps us boost our own stomach acid production, which can help turn on our enzymes that digest our food, which can make our food more digestible. So we have smaller particles that are being absorbed and not irritating our gut lining. Bone broth for most people is one of the easiest tools to use for gut healing. You can make your own with organic chicken bones or beef bones that you've already used and eaten and throw it in. There's a million recipes online with bone broth. You can make it in an Instapot, so it takes 2 hours. You don't need a crock pot or to cook it overnight. It's the lowest hanging fruit. There are a subset of allergy symptom sufferers that don't do well with bone broth, but it is a really good first place to start when you are trying to heal the gut. Probiotic rich food, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut can also help heal the gut and increase the microbiome diversity. And doing that through food is super easy. So I'll have my breakfast and I'll have a little scoop of sauerkraut, or we'll have dinner with some sort of animal protein and we'll have a little kimchi. We do coconut kefir because in my house we don't do dairy. So, and changing up the varieties. Kombucha, if it's low sugar, also has really good bacteria in it. And you want to increase that diversity in your microbiome. And you can do that through these foods as well. And pineapple is like an easy enzyme that it contains bromelain, which is a natural anti-inflammatory, naturally helps break down some of our food and helps reduce that allergy symptom load. What can you do from a lifestyle perspective to support your body's resilience and your immune system overreactivity so you can keep it at a good place? Sleep is actually the most overlooked and underrated tool that anyone can use, and it's free. Adequate rest is essential for immune system regulation. It's essential for gut repair. They actually show that people don't get enough sleep. They also have dysregulation in their microbiome, disruption in the diversity. And so this is like a really important piece that anyone can start doing. If you're a late night sufferer, you have kids that keep you up, try napping. really try to hone in on it. Wake up in the morning, look at the sunlight. Sleep is really the only way to heal. If you're not healing, if you're not sleeping, you're not going to heal. No matter what other wonderful things you're doing, all organic, exercise, grounding, you need sleep. Increasing your resilience to stress can happen with earthing, so grounding or walking outside with your bare feet and connecting with the ground. There's an exchange of ions, like an electrical exchange, that can be very healing, that can calm your nervous system. And when our nervous system is in its calm place, the parasympathetic part of our nervous system is stimulated. That's where healing takes place. My computer's slipping a little bit. For some people, cold showers, cold plunges, maybe not too cold, just so that you shiver, can also increase your body's resilience to stress. Everyone's a little bit different there. So working with your healthcare practitioner or provider will be helpful there, just to make sure you're doing the right things. And restorative exercise, not spinning or running or hit training, but actual walking, gentle movements, stretching, yoga, qigong, all, and not yoga like power yoga, but like very simple, relaxing movement. Walking is one of the best because it helps immune system function be boosted, and it also can increase microbiome diversity without stressing out the body. So if you are one of those people that likes to work out really hard and you find during allergy season your body is just like fighting you every step of the way, take 2 of those workouts a week, go for a long walk, do a nice stretch, do some mobility exercise, but keep it in that relaxing kind of restorative state, so that your immune system is supported. One of the other things that I will frequently recommend when people are really trying to heal right at the beginning, we're trying to really upregulate their body's capacity to heal, is amino acid support, either through an amino acid supplement or just making sure they're getting adequate protein. The gut lining needs to repair, and it needs building blocks. It needs the bricks to repair. And those are the amino acids that come from protein. Animal protein is actually easier to digest for most people who are inflamed and who have inflamed guts than plant protein. So you just want to maybe look at some of the easiest forms, even eggs or fish. All of those things will give you some of the building blocks to help repair the gut lining and also make immune system cells. It's the other thing for a lot of the kids that I see who don't like protein, their parents they just like carbs. You can't make the immune system cells, the antibodies and the immunoglobulins that you need for immune system function if you don't have adequate protein. So for all of you who are carb lovers or who have carb babies, and there's a lot of them out there, you have to find a way to insert some protein into the diet, be it some eggs, be it some protein powder, very clean, maybe grass-fed beef, grass-finished beef, protein powder into your baked goods, making soups and broths and mixing some of that protein in there. But it's one of the essential building blocks for actually healing. And I find my patients, especially with allergy, like the eczema kind of rashy type of allergies, need even more protein to heal that gut lining and to make new skin cells. So just keep that in mind if you're one of those sufferers and you haven't really been focusing on that. That's a really easy one to focus on: protein at every meal. Nuts aren't a massive amount of protein, so don't use nuts or peanut butter as your sole kind of protein. Really look at what you can add to your diet that is, good 30 grams of protein per meal minimum. And if you're healing, you want to go higher than that. Okay, what are some natural supplements, some targeted supplements that help reduce that histamine burden? Just clear histamine out of your body so that while you're working on the root cause, be it the dysbiosis in your gut, be it food allergens, be it parasites, what can you take from a supplement perspective? And this is like the time of the year that we do a lot of that. Oh, I have some windows open here. My apologies. So vitamin C is super easy if you're not eating a lot of fruit. 500 milligrams twice a day. Your body can't really take in more than 500 milligrams without peeing the rest out. So if you're taking 1,000 milligrams at a time, you're basically peeing half of it out. It's a cofactor for that DAO enzyme. So the DAO enzyme, for it to be regulated and work, it needs some vitamin C. Quercetin, and we have a quercetin plus nettle supplement from Designs for Health in our clinic that we love. 1,000 milligrams a day. I like to use it with food. Take it with food. You can separate it into doses. Is a natural mast cell stabilizer. Mast cells, again, are the cells that release the histamine particle that creates those symptoms. So if we can stabilize those cells so they don't produce as much histamine, we'll get a big decrease. And a lot of my patients stop taking allergy pills and start working with quercetin and vitamin C and working on their gut, and it works just as well, but it's natural and there's no side effects. Colostrum is something we use to help support the gut lining and the gut lining immune system, the immune system in the gut, at 1,000 milligrams a day. Vitamin A, we do a small dose. It has antihistamine properties. Again, if you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant, you just want to be careful with your dose of vitamin A. Work with your healthcare practitioner, obviously, before you start taking anything. Um, Zinc is an immune system modulator. We need it for proper immune system function so that the immune system turns on, but that it doesn't stay turned on and that it turns off. So it's really important. Probiotics for microbiome balance and repair is really important. Um, Akkermansia muciniphili is a specific probiotic now that we're starting to see. We didn't see it until just a couple of years ago, maybe 3, 4 years ago, that we started getting Akkermansia muciniphili supplements that can help. And that is the immune system regulator. So my patients with severe immune system overreactivity, autoimmune conditions usually don't have any of that. So we try and get that supplement into our diet as well, so that we can seed it into the gut and then feed it all those colorful fruits and veggies and plants to keep it there. N-acetylcysteine, NAC, is mucolytic. So if you're very congested and thick and coughy, like you're coughing a lot and it's wet, you might want to consider 500 milligrams, up to 500 milligrams, 2 to 3 times a day to help get rid of that mucousy type of inflammatory reaction. Omega-3s, you can get that in sardines or fatty fish like black cod or salmon, but you can also take 1 to 2 grams daily, which will reduce systemic inflammation everywhere, which also helps with allergy symptoms. And if you're really, you know, been an allergy sufferer your whole life, this isn't something new, they're just getting worse, you might want to consider, instead of allergy medication, obviously I can't tell you to go on and off medication, it's out of my scope of practice, but you can add this DO enzyme. There are many supplement companies right now that produce this enzyme that you can buy in capsule form, and you take it much like you would when you're suffering from your symptoms, just to stabilize those mast cells and increase the histamine degradation in your body with using this directly. You can find my allergy supplement protocol on my FullScript account. You can find it at askdrchristina.com. You can click on it. It's our online dispensary. People in the US and Canada can look at it and pick and choose if you don't have some of these supplements, but you want to give them a try. It's a really easy first step to trying to help. You'll see my curated allergy supplement protocol right there on FullScript, and you can order them online. They come right to your house. So let's say you've done all this. You are the person who has definitely figured out, you know, you have to eat healthier, you're eating better, you're taking some supplements, and you still feel like your allergy symptoms are getting worse and worse. And this has happened to a lot of my patients. And that's when you have to go deeper. You have to dive deeper. Do the other things first. Sleeping, you know, movement, restoring your resilience. Those things are low-hanging fruit. They are mostly free, and they have a massive radical impact on people's symptoms. Start there. Don't skip that one. Getting tested and doing the functional medicine testing and not doing the initial diet and lifestyle pieces won't give you the results that you want. You'll get 50% of the results. But if you find nothing working, then you go deeper. You can find those hidden triggers, like we talked about, parasites, viruses, and overgrowth of pathogenic bacteria that can produce histamine and suppress immune system function. You might uncover that you have something called MCAS, which is mast cell activation syndrome, and it can be very, very reactive and life-threatening. And really, when you look at functional medicine testing, and here's just a small example of a patient who had H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori. Testing H. pylori also produces histamine, and they didn't know they had it because they had no symptoms outside of the histamine symptoms. When you can address some of the root causes like this and realize why your system's overreacting and correct it, you can get remission or complete resolution of some of those symptoms. I'm going to tell you about Lisa. Oh, geez, look at the picture here. This was awful. Actually, this wound here on her arm ended up opening up and being like a weeping wound for, I want to say, 3 or 4 weeks. She would wrap it and it would weep through. That's how bad it was. Corticosteroids weren't helping. And she had allergy symptoms like this for over 15 years that turned into full body reactions. And actually, this is really quite common. So we see young children with eczema or asthma, and then they start to get eczema, and they get some food allergies, and their tonsils have to get removed, and they get their tonsils removed, and their parents are like, okay, it's great. And what ends up happening is then they start getting eczema patches, And then they start getting the digestive issues and the bloating or the runny nose or the congestion that just never goes away or something that extends into something like this. And this was really probably the most severe case I've ever treated of full body histamine reaction, um, showing itself mostly as eczema. But I mean, this was like very severe. And Lisa couldn't go into public for like a month at some point because her whole face, like this is actually part of the healing. Her whole lips peeled off. Her face was, I wasn't sure what we could do, but we started with the gut. We started there. She had no known allergies or conditions in her childhood. And after she went through puberty, she started developing this eczema. It spread to her hands and feet. Then she had the itchy eyes. She had a Kleenex box everywhere. She said she didn't think it was not normal, not to eat and pass out. She was diagnosed with asthma. Then it escalated to these full body rashes, and you could see the open wounds on the feet and the hands um, were something like I had never seen before. I've seen some bad eczema patches that bleed because they've been scratched. These were big open wounds. Um, and the worst of the worst, just before she healed, as we were working through that first year, we worked together for quite a few years. As we worked through that first year and she came off certain things that she'd been doing that weren't working for her, her body had a severe flare, which was the last time she flared. After that, she started really, really healing. There was some significant shifts prior to that, but one last flare, and her whole face swelled up. Like I said, this is when she didn't go out for a month, and the dryness around the lip and mouth and the arm was weeping and the foot was weeping. It was just awful. So we started at the gut, and I was honest with her and said, I don't know how far we can get, but your gut is in a mess. We did the functional medicine testing. We took a look at the gut. We actually started with a food first gut approach, very similar to what I shared with you, very anti-inflammatory. We actually tried doing the autoimmune. We took gluten and dairy away, most inflammatory foods for the gut. So we took that away. She started there and she started learning how to make food. So many people are like, I don't meal prep. I'm just not that person. I'm too lazy. I'm like, you cannot be healthy in this day and age and eat out. You may have a private chef, amazing if you do, but if you don't, you have to set aside time to be healthy. And part of that is food shopping and meal prepping so that you are prepared and you have healthy options in your fridge at all times. We did the functional testing and uncovered even more dysbiosis. We knew she had a history of allergies, so I was pretty sure when we did the genetic testing, we would see that DAO enzyme mutation, that hers was lower, so she had less of an ability to degrade histamine. And it took a long time. It took, I want to say, about 2 years. And with the right approach, she had lasting resolution. So this is what I would say. This is about a couple weeks into the biggest flare she had. It started healing. It was really bad. Her eye was swollen shut. And this is what she looked like. No medications, heavy supplementation initially, which we weaned off most of them after the first year and a half. We retested quite a few times to make sure we had done what we needed to do. But these full body reactions she had, from a weeping arm to a swollen eye, to fully restored skin, beautiful skin, no makeup, no reactions. And we were able to do that by digging deep and doing the functional medicine and changing her whole diet and lifestyle, changing how she lived, um, and giving her the tools to heal herself, which was really exciting for me. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure what amount of resolution was possible, but I knew once I looked at the functional testing and at her diet, if we fixed all that, that her body would have the tools to heal itself, which it did. So, how can I help you or your loved ones? First, start at home. Incorporating these changes are very like low hanging fruit, zero to low cost diet lifestyle, then adding maybe some targeted supplements, especially if you're really suffering. If you do all that and you're still seeing these allergic reactions getting worse and worse, it's your body giving you a message that something else is wrong. Going deeper, doing that functional medicine testing, getting to the root causes, fixing the root causes, then healing, and then having the tools to stay healthy long time. Understanding why your immune system is reacting the way it's reacting is actually the key to healing any kinds of allergy reactions, allergy symptoms, autoimmune conditions, immune system reactivity. You don't have to suffer every year and be like, oh, it's allergy season. I'm going to have like snot and like red eyes for like a month. And, I'm going to feel shitty and headachy and I'm going to have to you don't have to do that, but it does take work. But healing is possible and it's slow and steady. one of the first steps that we offer, and we're offering this special offer with this webinar, is a metabolic assessment. It is a very thorough assessment of your body's symptoms to see how, and systems to see how your body's actually working. We can gain some clear insights just from what you check off in this kind of long form history. And if you're looking for less digestive distress, less allergy reactions, better focus, less headaches, more energy, and reducing your overall inflammation, we look at that. We get some personalized insights, and I offer you some direct kind of supplement and diet recommendations that are specific to what I see in your history. And actually recommend, do I think you should do functional testing? Do I think you should do a certain diet for a period of time? It is like the easiest way to dip your toe into healing, but having someone help you along the journey, because I'm just here to help. You have to do the work. You have to want to understand what your body's trying to tell you, and you have the tools to heal yourself from your symptoms that have been distressing you for years and years. Our special offer is $199. The metabolic assessment is one of the first steps you can take. If you are looking to do that, you can go to askdrchristina.com. Super easy. That's ASKDRKRISTINA.com. Click the book my assessment link. My team will email you and set you up with an intake form. Once we get that intake form, we set you up for your appointment. And that's when you and I meet after I've read your intake form already. So I have some ideas, and you leave with some clear insights and some tangible things that you can get started that are personalized specifically to, the dysfunction that's happening in your systems and organs and body. And clarity really is the first step. If you want to stay connected with me, we have these free monthly webinars. We have a YouTube channel that is full of gut healing information, lots of different webinars. If it's your first time with me, go to the YouTube page, subscribe, take a look at some of the past very simple, basic digestive webinars, and go through those and get started with those steps. These are free. It's my gift to the community. I can't help as many people as I'd like to. So if you know someone who's suffering, or you're suffering, and maybe you don't live near me, or it's out of your budget to do that deep functional medicine testing at this point, get started with some of these, free or very low cost tools, and start helping yourself heal. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate all of your guys' support. I hope this presentation gave you some valuable insights into allergies and gut health. I hope if you know someone suffering from allergies and gut health, you'll share this information with them. Optimal wellness is a journey. It's not like, okay, I'm going to take this pill and this thing happens. It is a journey. It is a lifelong journey. You can always do better. And I'm here to support you with whatever step and stage of the way you're looking. If you want to connect with me online, I have my Instagram account is at Ask Dr. Christina. My YouTube channel is at Ask Dr. Christina, and our website is bosnerhealth.com. And if you know you've done all these things and you're like, okay, I'm ready to do something, you can go to our website, click a discovery call, and chat with one of my team to figure out what's the best next steps for you. I hope that you have enjoyed the presentation, and I look forward to seeing you guys next month on our next Ask Dr. Christina webinar. And I hope you have a wonderful day.